We live in the age of information, and in this age, ignorance is no longer a circumstance, it is a conscious choice. Modern technologies have given people access to knowledge that was once the privilege of a narrow circle: teachers, religious leaders, doctors, and those in power. Information used to be scarce. Today, this gap has almost disappeared. Answers to nearly any question are freely available, and with this, human consciousness itself is changing. Consciousness is energy, and right now we are witnessing a fundamental shift in how people interact with themselves, with their environment, and with the world as a whole. What was considered innovative just a few years ago is already outdated today. The speed at which information spreads has increased so dramatically that familiar models, economic, political, educational, medical, religious, are no longer functioning. Old paradigms cannot withstand the pace of change and begin to collapse. As a result, people are starting to realize that knowledge alone is no longer enough. We have entered a time when it is not only important to understand, but also to act. If we look back 15 years, we can see that audiences enjoyed receiving information, but engaging them in practice was difficult. Resistance had to be overcome. Today, the situation is different. People are willing to invest their time and attention in learning that helps them apply knowledge, change their behavior, and act differently. When behavior begins to align with intention, new experience emerges. And experience directly affects the brain. It forms and strengthens neural connections. Learning itself creates these connections, and lived experience makes them more stable. The side effect of such change is emotion, which arises in the process of experiencing. Emotions are not abstract. They are the biochemical result of experience. When a person feels gratitude, wholeness, boundlessness, or love for life, their body begins to understand on a chemical level what the mind has already grasped intellectually. Knowledge stops being theory, it becomes embodied. Without this emotional component, knowledge remains sterile, like a program that has never been run. If you give people space to interact, to step beyond the familiar, and at the same time explain the processes through science, clearly and reproducibly, their brains form new neural structures that prepare them for real experience. The deeper a person understands what they are doing and why, the easier it becomes to repeat that experience again. When the mind and body begin to work in harmony, philosophy stops being an idea and becomes a state of being. I see people moving from theorists to practitioners, from practitioners to masters. They move from knowledge to experience, and then to wisdom, from thoughts to embodied understanding, from actions to the state of being. Today, there is a huge demand for evidence. We have conducted extensive measurements, scans, and research to confirm the changes taking place. For many, science is a bridge between logical and emotional perception. Science has become the modern language of mysticism. Unlike religion or tradition, it does not divide people, it unites them. When you speak the language of neuroscience, epigenetics, quantum physics, and psychoneuroimmunology, you create a shared space of understanding. We have observed how brain activity changes within hours, what a mystical experience looks like on a neural level, and how it can be reproduced. We have recorded changes in emotional regulation, in the immune system, in gene activity, sometimes in just a few days. Genes are not a sentence. Less than 2% of diseases are truly hereditary. Everything else is connected to lifestyle, perception of the environment, and personal choice. Gene expression reflects the information a cell receives. Thoughts, emotions, hormonal states, all of these are signals that either activate healthy processes or suppress them. Therefore, changes in thinking, behavior, and emotional reactions directly influence the body's biology. The problem is that most people live on autopilot. Every morning they wake up and mentally return to the past, to the same problems, people, and situations. These thoughts evoke familiar emotions. Emotions create a state, and in this way, a person reaffirms their past day after day. Then they move into a predictable future based on the same patterns. If a person is not in the present moment, they follow a program. Their body pulls them toward the same destiny shaped by past habits. Often, only crisis, illness, or trauma can break this cycle. If the emotions of the past control a person's thinking and they are unaware of it, their past inevitably becomes their future. And this is where the key question arises. How do you break free from the program and reclaim your freedom of choice? In reality, there is nothing magical about it. Everything that happens is a reflection of how we carry the past into our future. For most people, this creates a predictable, repetitive life, but most want to change that. The problem is that people don't know the formula and don't understand the technology, so their emotions end up controlling their thoughts. When thoughts activate the same neural circuits, the brain produces the same neuropeptides, which signal the same hormonal centers. You begin to feel exactly what you think about. If you think you're a failure, you feel like a failure. And when you feel like a failure, your thoughts reinforce that feeling, creating a closed loop. Even I sometimes fall into these loops. I think, I work with Dr. Joe. I know how to outsmart myself, but sometimes I still get angry. I understand that my anger worsens my future, but breaking out of this cycle is difficult. Think about it. If you believe you can't stop an emotional flow, it means that on some level you're dependent on it. It's a form of conditioning. Even a negative emotion can become addictive. When a surge of stress hormones is accompanied by arousal, people truly feel as if they're losing control. Repeating these cycles over and over makes the body believe it is in the same environment 24/7. The body doesn't distinguish whether emotions are triggered by real events or by thoughts. That's why genetic signals repeat and the same proteins are produced again and again. If the emotions are tied to anger, fear, or frustration, over time, this can suppress genes, cause illness, and lead to poor health. And here, an important question arises. What if we can break this cycle and teach people to improve their emotional state so that emotions generate new thoughts and thoughts generate new emotions? Meditation, walking, silence, all these practices help step outside the familiar life, change the environment, and work on oneself. The goal is to see whether this leads to changes in the external world. We measured the expression of 7 key genes in 30 to 40 participants and found that each person had their own unique expression. But at the same time, common genes emerged. 2 genes suppressed oncological processes and reduced tumor growth. 1 stimulated the growth of new neurons, creating new connections and new brain cells in response to learning. Others activated stem cells to repair damaged tissues. Genes responsible for oxidative stress were suppressed, providing antioxidant protection. These changes indicate anti-cancer, anti-aging, anti-heart disease, anti-stroke, anti-inflammatory, anti-neurodegenerative, and antimicrobial effects. Genes regulating immunity were strengthened. Genes responsible for microtubules and cellular structure became more stable. In just 4 days, participants regulated pituitary activity, improving the functioning of both brain and body. We are essentially becoming genetic engineers of our own lives. If we understand that the environment signals the gene and that experience and emotions shape the final outcome, then by embracing an emotion in advance before it appears in the environment, we can directly influence gene expression. This means we become the person we want to be. How do we do this? There is a formula. We have learned how to create internal change, and our research has shown that reproducing this formula leads to significant improvements in brain function. In one study, 80% of participants experienced more than a 90% improvement in just 4 days. These changes enhanced heart function and regulated emotional states independently of external circumstances. And the most astonishing part is the collective effect. At our week-long events, we witness miracles on a scale that is difficult to explain. The blind begin to see, the deaf begin to hear, tumors shrink. People with multiple sclerosis show significant improvements. Those who used crutches begin walking without them. Why is this happening now and not 10, 15 years ago? Because today, we can create an environment where people have the opportunity to connect, understand, and transcend themselves. Every day, more people join the process of transformation. One person overcomes their fears, shares their experience, and others follow. It's like the 4-minute mile. Once the first person breaks the barrier, others see the path and follow. This collective energy creates a trail that becomes accessible to everyone. People see real examples, live, not on YouTube. They experience it here and now, understand the meaning, and feel the changes within themselves. When a person with multiple sclerosis begins to feel their hands, chest, face, we see how emotions signal the gene even before the person encounters the external environment. Love for life creates healing. We see participants gradually breaking patterns they could never overcome on their own. We guide an entire community from one state of mind and body into another. Beyond fear lies courage. Beyond pain lies freedom. When a person reaches the zone of discomfort, we show them the limits and help them move beyond them. Over time, the brain reorganizes itself, and people begin to smile as they experience real change. A side effect of this process is that participants' stories inspire others. Real people share their breakthroughs. A chest psychiatrist with Parkinson's disease, a person with multiple sclerosis, someone with Raynaud's syndrome. They become examples, and the collective consciousness begins to shift. People start believing in their future more than in their past. They see a path they can follow. 15 years ago, people came for philosophy and knowledge. They listened, then left, postponing practice. Today, thanks to technology, YouTube, and open access to information, they arrive prepared and ready to act. Now, the effect is immediate and large-scale. Like a wildfire, knowledge spreads and transforms people in real time. When you hear, "Our week begins at 6 a.m. and ends at 7 p.m., you fully immerse yourself in the process. I push you, guide you straight into your future, and repeatedly give you the opportunity to pause and reflect. What did I do well? What can I improve? What did I apply correctly? And what could I have done differently?" You discuss this with your practice partners, sharing your struggles. "I tried so hard yesterday, and then I just let go." And you see it and think, "I was ready to give up." But in reality, that was part of the process, exactly what needed to happen. Suddenly, the community becomes a collective energy in motion, with everyone moving in the same direction, like flocks of birds or schools of fish. You feel this unity, a unity of hearts, a collective movement. And there is tremendous power in that, especially for those who understand the process logically but are still stuck in their habitual routines. How do you get people to take the first step? Give them 1 day or even 1 hour in which they can feel the effect. "Wow, I applied what Dr. Joe taught and I see results." After that, the desire to take the next step appears, and then another. Even an experienced person can get stuck in their own emotional loop. If you don't think beyond what you feel, emotions control the brain, creating a closed cycle. We studied the brains of people meditating while in anxious emotional states. In 100% of cases, brain activity worsened. Beta wave patterns increased and excessive analytical arousal appeared. Why? First, stress hormones amplify overthinking and analysis becomes useless. Second, emotions are records of the past. The solution lies beyond that past. Breaking the cycle means creating a short refractory period for the emotional reaction. The question is not whether you react, but how long you continue reacting. The method is trial and error, gradual learning. If enough people master this formula, we can move to the next level, deepening understanding and reinforcing the skills. We've seen this in practice. At Bond University, the only private university in Australia studying our brain data, researchers said, "We've never seen people change their brainwaves so quickly and effectively. People truly do it." This opens the possibility of applying the formula at the next level, creating a coherent energy field for another person. We have observed instantaneous changes in people's health. The field creates matter. By changing the field, you change physical reality. To do this, you only need to change a belief, not a physical object. A person does not change a tumor directly. The informational structure of the field changes. When I myself get stuck in a cycle of anger, I need to use a different emotion to break out of it, not rely on analysis. Think about it. Whom does anger harm? You and those around you. In the short term, it's manageable, but chronic anger is toxic to the body, suppresses genes, and causes illness. Every time we mentally return to the past and feel anger, the body becomes conditioned to that reaction. To break the cycle, you need to apply a practice or skill. Stop, close your eyes, work with your breath, elevate your emotional state. Recall the feeling of your future, not your past. If you experience the emotions of the future and connect with the energy of that future, anger and frustration no longer control you. Most people live in the past. Their lives are built on memories. The best way to change this is to define yourself through a vision of the future. People who create extraordinary things are in love with their future. They care for it every day as if tending a garden. The joy, excitement, and emotions they feel gradually rewire their brain and body as if the future has already arrived. If the brain and body receive evidence that the future has already been experienced, it will manifest, and it happens naturally with an element of surprise that teaches the brain to adapt. This is how we learn from mistakes and synchronicities, opening the door to new possibilities. When a person realizes that their thoughts and emotions influence their life, a sense of power emerges. It gives rise to self-belief and possibility. No one is excluded from this process. Age doesn't matter. We have examples of people over 80. Health doesn't matter. We've seen seriously ill individuals transform their lives. Past experiences, meditation background, weight, skin color, or personal struggles don't matter. Anyone can enter this process, experience profound change, and create their future. Even those who have never meditated often have the most powerful experiences because they have no expectations. The most important thing is to think about the future, not the past. This creates the foundation for healing, growth, and transformation in every aspect of life. The stronger the emotions we experience from an external event, the stronger the internal changes within us. The brain focuses on the cause, captures the moment, takes a snapshot. This becomes memory. The higher the emotional intensity, fear, pain, shock, anger, the stronger the attention to the source, and the more deeply long-term memories are formed. The problem is that every time we mentally return to that trauma, the brain and body produce the same chemicals as if the event were happening again. Some people relive it 100 times a day. This activates the survival gene. We try to ensure it never happens again, predict scenarios, and create mental strategies of protection. We begin imagining worst-case outcomes, thinking, what if this happens? Becoming increasingly inventive, yet all our emotions are rooted in the pain, fear, anxiety, and depression of the past. As a result, the brain and body literally tune themselves to the past, preparing for the worst, even when dozens of positive moments exist around us. A person unconsciously lives in a constant state of alertness, like soldiers with post-traumatic stress scanning for roadside bombs. The brain remains in high beta activity, aroused and vigilant. Every time a trigger appears, the emotion takes over the body. It's automatic, like a dog salivating at the sound of a bell. The person is pulled back into the event and reacts as they did then because they're in survival mode. Many people never talked about these events out of shame, and the memory freezes together with the emotion, halting their development. Until the emotion is overcome, nothing new can be created. The future is predetermined by the past. Functional studies show that talking about an event helps reduce the emotional charge but has little effect on the brain or body. Even a mild trigger brings the person back into the emotion of the past. Because the subconscious governs 95% of our life, new information cannot enter if it doesn't match the emotional state being experienced. Survival mode demands readiness for the worst, blocking growth, openness, and new emotional experiences. Research in energy psychology, such as EMDR, EFT, and meditation, demonstrates effectiveness in reducing emotional load. In EMDR, eye movements mimic REM sleep and help reprocess traumatic memories. EFT releases energy from the body and lowers cortisol. Meditation in a safe environment teaches a person to focus not on the event, but on the emotion, allowing it to be regulated. When a person reduces the intensity of the emotion and learns to move beyond random thinking, brain waves change and reactivity decreases. They are taught to stay in the present moment, to manage attention and energy, as if training a wild animal stuck in survival mode. Over time, the conditioned reaction weakens and the body understands this is not anger, this is awareness. At first, it requires effort, but practice brings results. Brain scans show that anxiety and depression gradually fade. You cannot be anxious or depressed while being in the present moment. The present moment frees you from the past and the future, allowing you to take control of your life. The body, once conditioned to cling to emotion, learns new behavior like a trained animal and eventually responds differently automatically. With consistent practice, the habit of past emotions dissolves, a new response forms, and the person gains freedom. If you feel that this video wasn't random, support this flow. Subscribe to our channel, The Power of the New Self, turn on notifications, and leave a like. Leave any comment, it amplifies the energy of exchange and helps this video reach those who need it right now. Thank you for being here.